We are driving from Melbourne to Sydney in this brand new camper van.
How cool is this?
We're travelling along the Sapphire Coast in our new home on wheels.
Sorry, I don't mean to intrude, but that's luxury.
Checking out some of the best beaches along the way and playing Australian wildlife bingo. Is that a whale? This Aussie road trip is officially go for launch. If you're new around here, Stacey and I have just returned home to Australia after travelling the world for a full year. It's time for us to settle into our new place, and we thought the best way to do so was with memories. So I went and bought a brand new photo frame with 5 empty spots that we need to fill. Each day of this road trip needs to give us a memory that we can showcase, or that photo frame will remain empty and our home will never feel like a home.
For our first stop of the day, we've just driven through this small town of Paynesville, which is about 20 minutes outside of Bairnsdale, which is a much bigger, more well-known town. But Paynesville, a little bit smaller, but right on the water is absolutely beautiful. There are so many black swans in the water, which we just stopped to see. What are you pointing at? Swan crossing. Lots of swans, lots of baby swans. And now we are driving to the ferry terminal because we're going to a very small, special island that is known for having the highest density of a particular Australian animal. So fingers crossed we can actually see some when we go across.
Guys, I'm so excited. I'm so keen to see this animal, and man, I hope we see it so that we can show you rather than tell you what animal we're talking about. Also, it's pretty funny, we're on this car ferry to travel about
100 meters, not even.
Maybe 60 meters. They can probably build a bridge, but look, this adds to the adventure.
So just across the water there, that is Paynesville. We're now on Raymond Island. That's literally how close it is. We can see the other side very clearly. Very, very quick trip across the ferry. But we're here now and we're on, I was going to say on the hunt. That is not an appropriate word. We are on the lookout for these very cute and cuddly animals.
Oh my god, guys, we've come across an animal. It's not the animal we were looking for. It's certainly not cuddly. I would say it's cute. We've come across a wild echidna, which I've never seen in my entire life. And it's just strolling along by itself on the side of the road. If you don't know what an echidna is, they're kind of like a hedgehog, but they're different. They're a different animal, native to Australia, and pretty cool.
There's the little guy who was just walking alongside the road. Staying off the road. He's very smart echidna. He's so cute. We've never seen, I don't think I've ever seen an echidna in person. Definitely not like in the wild, if anything at a zoo, but it is so cute. But I would not get too close because those spikes definitely look spiky and sharp. Yeah, he's super chill. That is not what we came to Raymond Island for, but that is a nice added bonus. Now Rosh has been very smart and she's placed the GoPro quite a few meters up the road away from the echidna, so not getting too close. But she's just placed it down on the ground, stepped back away, and the echidna's actually moved up the road very close to the GoPro now. It's almost touching it. So I think we're gonna have some pretty cute footage. It's using its nose to like dig into the ground, which is super cute. I'm sure it's hunting for little bugs or worms or something, whatever an echidna eats. But man, that was definitely worth the trip across to Raymond Island already, and we haven't even seen the main feature of the island. So a lot of the areas we're going to be driving through, mostly today, were really ravaged by our very bad bushfires we had back kind of end of 2019, early 2020, and really hit hard. Millions of animals obviously died in the bushfires. All the vegetation was wiped out. So to see that echidna this morning, I'm not sure specifically if this area was hit by the bushfires, but I know we will be kind of heading towards that region. But even just to see that echidna feels like, I feel so lucky to have seen that. It's the first time ever to see it, which might be crazy to people not from Australia, but it is not super easy to see Australian wildlife if you live in the city. Now, even though Raymond Island is known for having the highest density of this particular Australian animal, it doesn't mean you're guaranteed to see them. I think they're hiding a little bit at the moment, probably off the road, because this animal does like to sleep a lot. It is known for liking to sleep, so I'd imagine it probably likes to be a little bit away from the roads where it's a bit quieter and it can sleep undisturbed. Leave your guesses in the comments. Here's another hint. After driving around for about an hour, we finally spotted a koala, which is the animal we have been on the lookout for here on Raymond Island. Now, He's quite far away from the car. It's not going to show up very good on the camera, but he's asleep in his tree. It's very cool. First time I've seen a koala in the wild. What about you?
Yeah, first time.
Obviously very hard to spot because they are up in the trees sleeping, and they do actually camouflage in very well. We would get a little bit closer, but we're also very conscious that we live in Australia and it's quite dense bushland, and we have a lot of venomous snakes here, so we're not super keen on risking that, but we'll keep driving and maybe we'll see one a little bit closer to the roadside.
Guys, we've driven literally about 1 more minute up the road and found another koala. In fact, not just one. We've got a mum and her baby up in the tree. I'm trying to be really quiet because I don't want to frighten them. This is so cool.
This was absolutely worth the trip to Raymond Island. It took us about an hour and we found 3 in like 5 minutes. This one with the baby is so cute and she keeps looking at us. So worth it. We've never seen koalas in the wild. Like we said, it's incredibly hard to see them because they're up in the tree. But if you are in this area or doing this route, you have to come to Raymond Island, even for an hour or so. It's worth spotting one of these guys. We saw a koala. We just spent an hour driving around the whole island trying to find a koala, and we're waiting in line for the ferry, and there's one literally right here.
Bye, Raymond Island. That was really fun. I'm so glad we came. On to the next place. And our next stop on our way to Eden today is Lake's Entrance, which is exactly what it sounds like. It is the entrance of all lakes in this area of Victoria, I believe. As you can see behind me, it is pretty beautiful to look at. We've never been here before, and I don't know why, because it's so nice. The color of the water right now, what I'm showing you, is not color graded at all. It's just what we're seeing and what the camera sees. Such a beautiful deep blue color.
We've come up to Lake's Entrance town, so away from the lookout. It is so beautiful here, guys. It's a bit busy. It is a long weekend here for Melburnians, not for, or Victorians I should say, not for the rest of the country, but just so beautiful. We went into the local ice cream shop, got a couple of scoops. It was very popular. Weather is like, could not ask for better weather. It's so pretty. Not too hot, but warm enough to be in a t-shirt. And we're just sitting on the water, eating our ice cream and just looking out. It's so nice. We're about to officially cross into New South Wales.
Here we go!
Woo! Is there gonna be us? Oh, we're in. We did it! Woo! We've seen our fair share of Australian wildlife today. We obviously saw the echidna first up. We saw some koalas. We just saw about 20 minutes ago a wombat walking along the side of the road. Hopefully he stayed on the side of the road and not on the road. And we also saw a deer, which is maybe not Australian, but who knew we had deer? But we did see a deer. Australia is Australian, sure. Right on the side of the road again, so hoping that stayed that way. We have not seen a kangaroo, but I am fine for it to stay that way. We are driving at not the best time in Australia. Dusk is a really bad time to be driving on these roads because of kangaroos, but we are not too far. We're about 20 minutes out of Eden, so I'm fine to not see any kangaroos until later tonight when we're at our campsite. Just like that, we've made it to Eden. We're all plugged in, as you can see, electricity on, but I think we need to check the damage. You'll know what I mean when I show you. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I feel like that's a very Australian thing to collect that many bugs and insects and flies while driving along the highway. It's not too bad. Could be worse. Yes on?
Yes is on. Let's make some dinner. I'm starving. What's for dinner, Chef Stacey?
I've got veggie burgers. Right.
Well guys, ice cream today in Lake's Entrance did not come without a cost, and I don't mean in the lactose intolerant way yet. I stained my white t-shirt. Why can I just never wear white t-shirts without them getting stained? Why?
Dinner is served. Doesn't look that good. I struggled to kind of get a good crisp outside without burning it, but nonetheless, it's gonna be delicious.
Wow. A+ for presentation.
We wanted to say a big thank you to IndieCampers for supplying our van for our 5-night road trip from Melbourne to Sydney. IndieCampers have over 6,000 vehicles that you can hire across Europe, North America and Oceania. They offer one-way rentals, which means you can start in point A, travel as far as you want and end up in point B. In our opinion, a one-way rental is the perfect way to explore so much of Australia. They are super easy to book online. You can see all the different vehicle options, and one of the great parts that we love is that Rush didn't even need a special license to drive this this van. So she's been able to drive this all through Australia with no extra licenses on top of her just regular driver's license, which makes it super, super easy.
And the good news is if you use our code GFLV10, you can get 10% off your IndieCampers booking. Go on. I highly recommend it. You won't regret it. Good morning everyone from Eden. I'm not going to talk too much because I want to show you this view outside of our van right now. It is insane. Check this out. Guys, there are so many places to stop off at along the Sapphire Coast. We've stopped off at Pambulla Beach at the moment. Weather is not quite on our side, but a beach is always beautiful in my opinion. And you can't go wrong with the Australian beaches. The sand is so squeaky and soft. It's really nice. Clear skies. Let's go towards the clear skies. But first, let's do a tour of our brand new Seeker van, kindly supplied to us from IndieCampers. Come on in. So this van has literally just been made. We picked it up with just 30 kilometers on the odometer. Everything is brand spanking new. Toilet never been used. Pretty cool. So they advertised this van for 2 people, but I actually think you could have 3, like a couple and a child. I'll show you why in a little bit. But first, let's start off in the kitchen area. Now, as I said, it's a brand new van and it's really, really modern, high tech. So first of all, we have our fridge. The fridge is in this like really convenient position where it's not really taking up space and it's just like a drawer that you pull out. And there's all our junk food. Nice. And then, of course, in the kitchen area, we have our stove top and our sink. Similar to the one that we had in our very first ever van trip in Scotland, also with IndieCampers by the way. That was a much bigger van, so it's really cool to see how the space in the smaller van is used. And then up above you've got your fan and such. But here's what I'm really excited about. We've got a microwave, which we did not have in our Scotland van. So that just opens up a whole nother level of food that we can make or reheat. Let's talk about storage because it's a big topic in van life. You want a lot of space, but you also don't want it to be cluttered. So let's go through all the cabinets that we have. First up, above the kitchen space, we've got some pretty spacious cabinets. We do eat healthy, guys, sometimes. It's all about moderation. Below the microwave, we have our little cutlery drawer, which we're just keeping some of our most commonly used crockery. And then we've got this pretty large cabinet in here, good for our backpacks. We've got our cleaning tub that IndieCampers supplied that had like our toilet tablets, plastic bags, dishwashing stuff. And then in here is where we're going to store our doona and pillows during the day because our bed is not a bed all day. Wait and see. All right, are you ready for this? That is an air conditioner and also a heater because in Australia you never know. This can only be used, I believe, when we're plugged in, but in Australia wild camping's not really a thing anyway, so you kind of should be at campsites every night. So if you get a powered site, you can turn on this bad boy if it's too hot or too cold. Speaking of electricity, this van has solar power. There are solar panels on the top of it. So that means that on top of the usual batteries that the van would come with, you've got your solar power option as well, which means that if you were staying at an unpowered site, you'd probably be all right in terms of electricity because you've got so many different like avenues of electricity. And on that note, you can actually check the levels of electricity and water up on this little panel here. Another important consideration when doing van life is privacy because, I don't know, nobody wants to be watched getting changed. So you want block out blinds through kind of on any window that you have in the van. These ones are actually really cool because during the day you can have it where you can see a little bit out, but if you want complete privacy, bam! And then to close off the front compartment, you've got a curtain here. So you got your like driving area and then your little fun area. And then the storage continues to the back of the van where it's all just above your head. So you got these little cubbies that we've already put our clothes in. They're actually like a lot more spacious than they look. We fit all of our clothes for the entire trip in one each. So that's pretty handy. And then I've just got bits and bobs in the others. And moving from the front of the van, let me show you our leisure area where Stace is relaxing.
How cool is this? So much room back here. Like, I love this setup. I mean, like, look how much room you've got here. This is so good, so nice for eating your meals. Hopefully at some point on our trip, we'll pull up onto like a beach or something, cook our dinner, sit here and eat with the beach in the background. But just so much space, which is so nice. But you're probably thinking, there's no bed. Well, this whole section converts into our bed, which is crazy. And we've seen it put together and it's actually super big. It's pretty impressive. Really, really love this whole layout. During the day, super spacious. If you want to eat lunch on the side of the road, you've got heaps of room. And then at night, you've got your perfect bed.
And the bed is so spacious. As you can see, you can fit, I reckon, 3 people. Like we said before, probably 2 adults and a child very easily in this bed. The other thing is you can kind of choose. It's up to you what way you want to lie.
Now, you're probably thinking, it's a van, you can go a bit off grid. Can you charge your devices? What's the situation? There is plenty of places to charge your devices in this van. There are some like USB and USB-C ports which can be used even if you're not plugged into electricity, which is great. We've got some right here on this side of the van, and then Rosh has the same right next to her on the other side of the van, a USB and a USB-C. Just below my legs on both sides there's another USB and another USB-C on both sides. So heaps of places to charge even when you're not plugged into electricity, but if you are plugged into electricity, there are 2 like wall sockets, Australian wall sockets because it's an Australian van, right below me, but they'll only work when you're plugged into electricity. And now the best bit. No, I'm kidding, it's not the best bit, but it is still pretty cool that this fits inside this van. It's our little bathroom. Come on in. So in here, pretty basic. We've got a toilet, we've got a sink, and we actually have a shower as well with a little fan up there so it doesn't get too steamy. Plus the van also has hot water, which is great. And because we have both a gas bottle and electricity, there's actually little switches under the table and you can decide if you want to use the electricity or the gas for your hot water. The toilet fills a little tank underneath the van, which we'll show you a bit later when it comes time to eventually empty it, which is not our favorite job in the world, but it is pretty easy to do. That was probably the bit we were least looking forward to when we first did van life in Scotland, and honestly, it's fine. It's really super easy. So if that's what you're worried about and that puts you off doing van life, don't let that stress you out because it's really easy to do. Plus, if you stay at campsites every night and make enough stops during the day, you might not even need to use the toilet anyways.
But if you are still a little bit worried, you can always just do what Stace and I do and say, you can do number 1, but you can't do number 2.
So now the outside of this van doesn't stop on the inside. Plenty of cool features on the outside that make doing van life super easy. First up, does take diesel. Moving on. Down here, we've got this little nozzle here. This is our grey water. So for people who've not done van life before, grey water is essentially all the water you use in your van that just flushes out. Not the toilet, so it would be your shower and your kitchen sink and your bathroom sink. So all just the regular used water, you can release it here. Now, you can't just release it anywhere, so you've got to look up specific spots, maybe at your campsites if they do have a grey water release area, and you can empty it out there. So now coming around to the right side of the van, we have our water. So the van does have a hose inside, so you can connect up to taps at your campsites, top up your water, and that will feed into your kitchen sink, bathroom sink, shower, toilet, so you're all set. Here is our electricity. So this is a 5-meter cord, so it just pulls out. You can plug in at your campsites. Now you don't have to plug in every night. A lot of campsites do offer spots without electricity, which are a little bit cheaper. So if you don't want to plug in every night, you can save a bit of money. Now this is the not so fun part. This here is how you empty our toilet. Just comes out, it's like a little suitcase. You take it over at your campsites, there will be a place to dump your toilet waste. Very easy. Stay tuned for part 2 of our van life series and we'll show you exactly how we go about emptying this. It won't be graphic, guys. Just the basics, you know.
Only number 1s, not number 2s.
Only number 1s. Now to the back of the van. Both sides open up, which is great. So you can see we've got a bit of a storage cubby under here. So IndieCampers were super nice and supplied us with some camping chairs in there, and we also have an outdoor table inside. They're normally added extras, so if you do want a bit of an outdoor setup, particularly if you're traveling in the summertime, it'd be really nice to sit outdoors and eat your dinner. You can add that on when you book. Thank you to IndieCampers for supplying those for us. Now here, just under our table, we've got a few things stored away as well. We've got our kitchen kit and just our suitcases. But these just go here when we're driving so they don't move around too much. Now here is our gas. Now if you've never attached a gas bottle or used a gas bottle before, don't worry. We hadn't before we did our first van life trip. They taught us how to do it. It's pretty easy. And fortunately for us, we only really have to turn the gas on when we're cooking. If we do want hot water, we do have the option to use our electricity as well, which is a really cool feature of this van. And guys, something we love about this van as well, especially when there's only 2 of us, it's so spacious in the front. We have 2 seats here This is why we said the van is great for 2 people and 1 kid. Heaps of room in the back on the bed. You've got 2 seats right up here up front with seat belts. So spacious, especially with 2 of us. We've got a big seat to pile up all our crap. We have, this can come down, a couple of extra drink holders.
There are so many drink holders in this van.
Awesome, I can have 3 drinks at once. What more can you ask for?
And if Stace does have 3 drinks at once, we've got the toilet in the back for when she needs to pee.
And if things like changing the gas, emptying the toilet, all that stress you out, the IndieCampers team is so good. They give you a big tutorial when you go and pick up your van. It's a lot of information, but also there's a little QR code which provides you with everything you need to know about your exact model of van that you get, how to use it, how to do everything, so you'll be fine. Diesel topped up, windscreen semi-clean, somewhat clean, and it's time to hit the road again. Today we are driving from Eden to Narooma, which is also on the Sapphire Coast, as this strip of coastline is called. We're going to make a couple of stops along the way, one of which is Merimbula, which is meant to be beautiful. We're going to hit the road and see what's in store for us on our second day.
Getting old instead. It's been a few since I got it on my bike.
Echidna number 2 of the trip spotted just in someone's front lawn, as you do. They're actually surprisingly quick, I have to say. I don't know why I thought they'd be super slow, but it was trotting along on his way. It's nice to see them up close. Like, they have really interesting looking feet. Like, their back feet look like they're on backwards, but they're not. Kind of like sloth feet. Very cute. So something really cool about the van, as we said, this van we are using right now is brand new, high tech. You know, we've got our Apple CarPlay, so we're plugged in. We've got massive screen to show our GPS, which we do definitely need, but also we can play our music. And because it's now officially November, as of like 2 days ago, in our minds, it's Christmas. So we're playing Christmas carols all throughout the drive to entertain us on these long roads. Let us know in the comments, is November too early for Christmas carols? Because you're gonna have to fight Rosh over that, because she's pretty particular that November is Christmas time.
I'm happy.
And the partridge in a pear tree.
We've made it to Merimbula. Sun has finally come out. I think it's now 27 and sunny, so that's what we thought it was going to be today. We're going to pop by the main beach here in Merimbula, check it out for a little bit. We've slapped, and I've got some classic Australian shakes to snack on the beach.
And if you haven't already picked up on it, a lot of our stops are going to be beaches, because we're driving along the Sapphire Coast. That's the attraction, Australia's beautiful beaches. Stace just said to me, I think that Disney World is my Roman Empire, because she thinks about it at least once every hour. And it got me thinking what my Roman Empire would be. And of course, like, it's obviously Ted, but I don't know what else it would be. Let me know your Roman Empire down in the comments below. Oh, but this is looking like a pretty nice beach.
Oh, it's a bit chilly. If you're a tourist coming to Australia, keep in mind our beaches are not like beaches overseas. They have waves, they have rips, they have currents. So if you can't swim, don't hop in the water, please. We've now left Merimbula and are en route to Narooma, which is where we are staying tonight. There are 2 different routes from Merimbula to Narooma. There is the slightly shorter, a bit more inland route, but we're going along the Sapphire Coast Drive, which is kind of along the coast. Although at the moment I can't see a whole lot of the coast, but on the map it's along the coast.
Our Australian wildlife bingo card is almost complete. I can see a kangaroo. Correction, not 1 kangaroo, 2 kangaroos. One being a joey. How cool is this? I love Australia. Upon closer look, there's a good chance that they are wallabies. If you know, let me know down in the comments below. But either way, that's pretty cool.
Dinner with a view tonight. We've decided to stop off before our campsite. Well, actually we've gone a bit past our campsite, but nonetheless, before we get to our campsite, we've stopped off at Narooma Surf Beach. It's very pretty in the background. We're gonna cook up some tortellini. That was our go-to in Scotland. Actually, I think we've got ravioli, a bit fancier. Nice and simple, beautiful view. Let's get cooking.
Word of advice. This is like advice for kind of everywhere in Australia. Always watch where you're walking, especially on a beach. But I mean, like in the bushland, there could be snakes, spiders even in Melbourne. But here in particular, you don't want to step on a number of things. I've just spotted some blue bottles, but there are certain types of octopus, Stacey's always talking about that tiny little octopus that's like super, super deadly. Blue bottles, I believe, just sting, but like you don't want to be stung. It's painful. So always watch where you're walking. Holy crap, is that a whale?
You guys will not believe I'm sitting here cooking dinner in our van and we can see whales in the ocean flipping their tails multiple times. I think I've seen a whale once when we did our boat tour. I think it was in Hawaii and it was so far away. It was such a split second. But I've now seen this go up multiple times, clear as day. That,
Whoa.
just again, that is a whale.
I'm pretty sure it's a sign of aggression when they do that.
Oh,
I think.
Ooh.